Target Trading Academy.
Good afternoon, Preston Vogel here with Target Trading Academy. Today is Thursday, October 7th, just after 4 p.m. Eastern. Here with your market recap in the micros room. Oil today opened gap down, shot up to its range low from yesterday. Looked to fill this gap from a prior day. Didn't quite fill it. It was close. But we had some news come in that saw a rejection of this lower price, this lower area, so we never saw that again. And the buyers just took hold, and you can see that in the market auction process. With that said, we were looking for a potential trade here. It was just choppy. You can see that was also a previous area from a gap this week that was created when we opened the gap down. So they filled that gap, so that gap will no longer be in play for us. We'll be looking for those reversals in our HVA edges. So as far as oil goes, it wasn't as choppy, I would say, as it has been this week, or consolidated, but very strong movement with the buyers. Moving on to gold. So gold once again opened inside its range from yesterday. We noted this in the room as potential hazard when taking this potential trade for a reversal here with yesterday's low. And some students fell into it, others didn't. I'll show the ones that fell into that trap. It's just the low range trap here. But apart from that, it was pretty mediocre in gold. Just sat inside of its HVA range and overall range from yesterday. So no real other entries in the micro gold. Let's go ahead and take a look at that trade. So William fell into that trap, which is understandable. It should have been handled differently, and he had just forgotten about how to handle this issue here, which is fine. Down $32 in the micros. Again, he's still learning on Sim before he goes live. It's mistakes like these that you note and pay special attention to, just because it's easier to learn from your mistakes than it is from your successes or your success. So it was an attempt. Other students did win at this area, but this is one that I like to highlight because you'll remember it and you most likely won't do it again. All right, moving on to the ES here. Note that the market's still ticking around. We've got about less than an hour until it stops, and that's quotations, right? So we'll scroll back. It opened gap up from yesterday. Huge move from around 1 o'clock in the afternoon yesterday. It just kept going well into the overnight, well into the pre-market. There was a reversal short preceding the opening of the market around 9 o'clock. But opening is here. Still gap up. We have our aqua lines that we have marked as significant areas to pay attention to. With that said, it opened up and had a clear rejection right off the bat. And we stair-stepped up. We hit our red line here. Remember, red is an area of a gap that was in the market that had no volume in between it, that we paid attention to, and it actually had a reversal around that area twice. One that we would have qualified immediately. Other than that, it was just choppy, just consolidating moves before making anything higher. And then how many hours of sideways movement up here? Nothing was valid in this area. So again, it was just a choppy day, not one to really sit around and wait for something. If you have other things that you have in the day, that they're more likely going to be better to do those than to sit around and wait for something. So that's something that you have to learn as a student, is when to walk away. And it just went to lunch and it came back down, and you saw it earlier. It came back to the area where we opened in the market and hasn't gone lower really. So nothing special about today's move in the ES. It's back at where it opened, pretty much. So ES did open gap up, so we'll have to make note of that in terms of potential areas of reversals for tomorrow. Moving on to the trades that were sent in relation to the ES. Curtis took the reversal long prior to the opening of the market. This is the area where we pointed out that reversal short. He took the long on the way up. Others took it on the way down. We're just highlighting his right now. It's just a live trade from him, up 21.25. He stepped away right away. This was his first and only trade for the day. As we were starting to discuss in the room, with the large opening and potentials of edges and trades that we may or may not see. But he weighed the odds out and he decided to take off, I guess. But he left a winner. Let's move on to our other ES trades. William taking a second trade of the day in the micro ES. The opening is down here. He quickly saw the movement of the market, the stair stepping, and he got in on an advanced entry. 2 lots. He got one of his targets met. The other is better than break even for that attempt of trail he made out with 1750. Still down, I believe, overall for the day in sim. But here you can see the market profile that he's got up, and it's about, 60, 85. So he's 25 points from yesterday's to today's, according to his market profile. So quite the gap for the market's opening. So this was not the only trade taken by a student today in the MES. Let's move on to the next. This trade is taken by Wendy, a student in the room. Really, she had a poor entry at her reversal. She reduced her risk accordingly. Not the first time there. This is towards that opening area, right, of the market. She got out at better than break even. She really should have gotten out over here. It should have been treated as more of a scalp, especially with her poor entry. She should have been in up higher according to the method. It's just when you're a student, you're learning how to enter the market and go through the rules. You start off with pretty strict rules, so she had to stick to them, and then she moved to break even after being granted to that process. But she's probably kicking herself now, realizing, well, if that's support, why don't I have my target there, right? So, I mean, I guess that's another free lesson, right? Don't get greedy. Look to take targets off at support and resistance. Now, this is the last entry that in the ES that I'll be showing for now, as to keep this video short for time. We're going to go over to the NASDAQ. Looking at the NASDAQ, it also opened up, gap up. Scrolling back, we had an area pre-marked from before the market opened to watch. That opened right on it, hit it. So it opened on resistance, hit it, shot down, came back to it, and stalled there before the influx of buyers stepped in. You can just see the stair stepping, indicating heavy buying, right? And like the ES, it just started going sideways. Now, there were more opportunities in the NASDAQ for reversals. One here, if you were paying attention and were quick enough to get it, you can see that this is 43 and then this is 44. So this is within a minute of a time span, and you would have had a monster winner. But NASDAQ is pretty volatile. It moves pretty quick. So if you're not on your toes, you'll most likely miss it. Now, those resistance areas were still responding, but they weren't really giving you that one-to-one that you're looking for in terms of your risk. But again, it just got choppy towards 10 o'clock and went sideways for the most part. And then, well, where are we now? We're back down where we pretty much started. So that's the moves of the market. Very blasé, you would say. Nothing too special. Just consolidating moves, creating a gap in the market. So we'll be paying attention to those tomorrow. We'll get our high volume areas imported tonight in preparation for tomorrow's trading session. So if you're interested in wanting to see what we do here, step into our rooms, ask questions, just contact one of our representatives through Facebook. Go to our website at targettradingacademy.com. Look at our reviews on Trustpilot and ask yourself, how come we have so many live students that are profitable, and what's holding you back?